Now, one of the quickest and easiest ways to query and download map features is to simply double click on the map in the GeoLayers panel. So here I'm over Ireland. If I just double click, it will give me a handful of map features here, and as I hover the cursor over, it'll give me a preview. So it will always give you the country boundaries, the inner boundaries of all the states and provinces, the polygons of the states and provinces, as well as the individual county or province that you clicked on, and then the coordinates as well. So this is a really, really efficient way to quickly grab features. For example, I'm going to come over here to the UK, just double click, and now I can click on add to browser for the United Kingdom. If I double click again, I can come over here and grab this individual county. The absolute 100% best way to animate inside of GeoLayers is to use these automation features. So if you select a map feature, you can see you have all these tools down here, and as you click on them, if you see any symbols that have a keyframe icon right next to them, that means this is an animation automation. So right now I've selected the UK, and right here I can animate the view to the feature. So if I click on this, it's going to ask me how long should this animation take, and I can click on create animation, and just like that, I didn't have to keyframe anything, and it automatically adds easy ease to this, and now I have a map zoom. And if you click on a bunch of these different tools, you'll see all types of different automation modes. So if I had a stroke selected, I could animate this to quickly animate the stroke around here. And this even works if you have multiple features selected. It'll open up different options like animate view between features. So here this would animate from the United Kingdom to Romania. There are really a ton of different things you can do with these automation features. For example, if you have a layer here, you can animate layers along feature paths and much, much more. So if you are not already, you should totally be using MapBox Studio. So first head over to mapbox.com, set up a new account, and then head over to products, maps, and then right here you will find Studio. Now you can create these custom styles here, which are essentially tile sets that you can connect to GeoLayers, and they're totally free to use up to a certain number of tile requests. You can view that in your statistics here, and all you really need to do to use them in GeoLayers is to use the MapBox attribution. So here's a specific style that I set up, and I urge you to check out the tutorials if you're unfamiliar with MapBox, because it can be a little confusing using it for the first time. But once you get something that you like, you can simply publish the style, click on share, and then go down to the developer resources section, click on third party, and in the drop down menu select Cardo, and then copy this integration URL. And then you can head over to GeoLayers, and when you're creating a new map comp, when you get to the imagery section, just hit the plus icon here and then paste this URL right here, and now you have your custom MapBox profile. So GeoLayers uses both Natural Earth and OpenStreetMap as data sources. And one really insanely cool thing that I discovered just last year is that you can query and directly search and download specific pieces of data from OpenStreetMap directly here in this search bar using like reference or data numbers. So let me show you the workflow and what I'm talking about. Let's say I want to get the Seine River, for example. That can be really hard if I just type the keyword Seine in here. It's not going to give me the entire river. So if you actually come over here to openstreetmap.org, you can directly query data points or pieces of data directly on the map. So all you need to do is zoom in far enough, and once you zoom in past a specific point, it will allow you to use this little query features button over here. So if you click on this, now I can click directly on the river, and right here it says nearby features. I have river, the Seine. If I click on this, this is actually not the entire river, it's just a piece of it. It's saying this is a way, we want the entire river. So if I scroll down, it's telling me that this way is a part of two relations. So ways and relations are just different data types that OpenStreetMap uses. So it's telling me right here that this relation is the main stream. So if I click on this one, it'll zoom out and indeed show us that, pretty sure that this is the entire Seine River. And it has the information up here. It's telling us it's a relation, the Seine, but also this little number. So I'm going to copy this, and if I come back over to GeoLayers, I can actually search this feature directly. All you need to do is first type in OSM for OpenStreetMap, and then use a colon, and then type in the data type, which is relation, and then paste that number in. Now you can see we have this little bar here that turned green, and if I hit enter, it's going to bring that into GeoLayers. Well, as a preview, I still need to actually add this to my browser. So it's telling us relation, Seine, this is a path, And now voila, I now have this piece of data, which is insanely cool. This is really helpful when you're doing detailed mapping work inside of GeoLayers. And if I wanted that little piece from before, I could just type in OSM semicolon and then way. So you just need to type in the actual data type followed by the number. And this should work for nodes, ways, relations. So I urge you to go tinker around in OpenStreetMap and test this out. It's really fun. If you aren't already using multiple map comps in your workflow, you probably should be. To do that, simply click on the map comp settings button right here. You can click on create new map comp. And first you have link view. This is very important because this will tell the new map comp whether it should follow the existing map comp or not. Now if you start to set up a bunch of different map comps, you can, get pretty crazy here with linking multiple map comps to others. Now one reason you might not want to link up a map comp is if you're creating something like a locator or an inset map, you can simply not connect it and then resize it to fit it down in the side here. But I will go ahead and link this one. And a good reason to link map comps is if you want to draw out shapes and or labels in one map comp, or if you just want to have like a satellite over a different map style. For example, I could pick a completely different look here and create this. And once you've got multiple map comps set up and you go to your Shape Layer Styles menu, you'll notice you have this little button right here, Draw on Preferred Map Comp. So you can click this for your labels and your Shape Layer Styles. So down here we now have Label on Preferred Map Comp. So what this does is now when I draw out a shape layer or a label, it will draw that out on the preferred map comp. Now how do I set a preferred map comp? Well, you just go up here, and once you've activated these, you'll see these two little buttons now. Prefer for template labels or prefer for drawing features, and voila, there you go. By the way, I use this a lot. I will set up a map comp that doesn't have any imagery. For example, I would turn the imagery of this one off, and then I would draw on my shape layers directly in this map composition, so it gives you just a little bit more control over the look of your map. And if your project starts to get really complex, this will just keep your containing comp pretty nice and neat. I imagine there is one really often overlooked feature inside of GeoLayers, and that is this little script menu here. If you click on Run Script File, there are a handful of default scripts that come with GeoLayers, and they're really helpful. For example, you can quickly draw out a north needle, a scale bar, you can stagger layers, you can pre-compose an individual feature shape layer. This is really useful. They just added distance circles, and you can even use their new Create 3D Scene in Camera, which is insanely powerful. I've got a standalone tutorial for that as well. I'll link to that down in the video description. Go check these out. There's a lot of really helpful things here. And I also mentioned drawing locator and inset maps. Well, you can do that right here by drawing map comp view. I also have a standalone tutorial for that. One of my favorite things to do in projects is to create my own custom shape layer styles. And a really fast way to do this is via an image import. So I can click on Edit Styles, and here are the existing styles. But if you go up here, you can click on Import Styles, and I've got this really sweet Marauders map from Harry Potter. So we're going to use this. I'll click on Open. That's going to sample all these colors, and it's going to ask me if I want to override or basically append these shape layer styles. So I'm going to override them, because these new styles are just too gangster. And what it's going to give you, it's going to give you 5 styles, like basically a color palette of 5 colors in 3 different modes here. You have polygons, and it will even tell you, I think, it has lines, points, and polygons. So these are for your polygons, these are for your lines and paths, and these are for your points. Super duper helpful. And if you want to save this out, you can actually export this and name it as you want, and it will save out as a JSON file, which you can then later import into another project if you want. One big obstacle you'll most likely encounter when working inside of GeoLayers is your system being bogged down by really intensive shape layers that have a lot of vertices. For example, if you're trying to draw out something like Russia or the entire landmass of Europe or Asia, this can be pretty system intensive. So if I just quickly draw out this feature, it'll draw it out, but if we're starting to draw out a lot of shapes, all these vertices and shapes will really bog things down. So what you can actually do is you can export this as a GeoJSON and then connect to it via a map comp. So it will essentially be a raster, and you won't have to worry about this shape layer at all. So not only will that not bog down your system as much, but it'll also open up features where you can add certain effects to the raster instead of the vector. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If I go back to the GeoLayers panel, grab Russia, and click Export Features, this is going to export it as a GeoJSON. And now if I go and create a new map comp, make sure that it's linked up to your main map comp. And then for the MapComp imagery profile, you want to choose Data Viz Choropleth. So this is usually for data-driven animations or whatever, but if you click on it, you can actually choose the GeoJSON. So I'm going to go and grab this features one that I added here, and it's going to show me, here I have Russia, and as long as I don't add a property, it's just going to give me this solid one color, which is perfectly fine. I'll click apply, and now this gives me a MapComp profile that is just Russia, and it's looking a little blurry here, but if I finalize this, voila, I now have this shape feature, which is really a game changer. It's pretty cool. So depending on whether you want to work in like a raster or a vector workflow, keep this in mind. And now I can come and style this however I want. If I wanted to add layer styles like an inner glow or something, you know, I can go wild. So if your data has a time series element to it, you can actually automate an animation based on this specific data. I actually used this feature in my most recent premium course, GeoLayers War, where I created this time-lapse animation of all the sunken U-boats in World War II. So this was almost 800 layers that I quickly animated via this time series. You simply need to go to the feature properties of the feature collection, and then there's a little section right here that says feature timing by, and then you can use this drop-down menu to select the feature property where you have your date or whatever your time series data is. And then when you go to add labels, you can use this automation, add labels with time offset. Voila, you've quickly created a time series animation. I love this feature. Alright, I hope these were helpful. If you want to check out more GeoLayers tips, I have a handful of other videos, and all the other tutorials I mentioned in this video, you can find these linked in the video description. And as always, if you want to become a master of GeoLayers, check out my GeoLayers 3 masterclass and my new GeoLayers War Battle Maps masterclass. And of course, my Patreon page. Catch you in the next one.